Between the years of 1913 and 1930, Carl Gustav Jung embarked on a journey of self-experimentation referred to as a confrontation with the unconscious. By inducing visions through active imagination, he explored his inner processes, documenting his experiences in a series of black books, which were later transcribed into the famed Red Book. 50 years following Jung's death, after much deliberation, the Red Book was made available to the public. The work has been carefully and laboriously organized and edited by Jungian scholar Sonu Shamdasani. In this video, we provide an abridgment of Shamdasani's introduction to the work, which provides an insightful overview of Jung's life as it was influenced by his confrontation with the unconscious and the contents of the Red Book. In the following videos, we shall explore these contents, but I would recommend watching this video first to get the most out of this profound text. In the early 20th century, there was a surge in experimental exploration across literature, psychology, and the visual arts. Influential psychologists like Alfred Binet and Charles Richet dabbled in fiction, while writers such as André Breton and W.B. Yeats drew inspiration from psychology. Amid this, Carl Jung embarked on his own journey of self-experimentation, producing Liber Novus, a unique blend of psychology in a literary form. Carl Jung was born in 1875 in Keswil, Switzerland. His father, a pastor, influenced Jung's early religious experiences. A memoir titled From the Earliest Experiences of My Life focuses on Jung's childhood dreams and visions, serving as an introduction to Liber Novus. One significant childhood dream involved a meadow, an underground temple, and a ritual phallus on a golden throne with an eye. Over the years, Jung realized that this dream symbolized an initiation into the secrets of the earth. Jung had visual hallucinations in his childhood, and he could voluntarily evoke images. At 12, he experienced a transformative moment while contemplating a sinful thought, leading to a sense of direct communion with God. However, he soon became disillusioned with the church, shifting towards spiritual exploration. Living in 2 centuries, Jung felt a duality of personalities. The first pursued science, while the second was drawn to the humanities and history, and particularly the Middle Ages. In 1896, during his university days in Basel, Jung participated in séances with his fellow students, including his cousin, Helene Preiswerk, who displayed mediumistic abilities, transforming into different personalities during trances. Jung's interest in psychiatry emerged after reading Richard von Krafft-Ebing's Textbook of Psychiatry in 1899. Inspired by this, he underwent a natural scientific conversion and joined the progressive Burghölzli Hospital. His dissertation focused on the psychogenesis of spiritualistic phenomena based on the séances with Helene Preiswerk. In 1902, Jung began studying with French psychologist Pierre Janet in Paris. Then, returning to Burghölzli, Jung conducted research on linguistic associations with Franz Ricklin. They applied the associations experiment to study emotionally stressed complexes, establishing Jung's reputation in psychiatry. In 1904, Eugen Bleuler introduced Jung to psychoanalysis at Burghölzli. Jung entered into communication with Freud in 1906, leading to the establishment of the International Psychoanalytic Association in 1910, with Jung as president. Despite their collaboration, the psychoanalytic movement experienced dissent and disagreement during this period. In 1908, Jung established his residence in Küsnacht by Lake Zurich, leaving his position at Burghölzli in 1909 to focus on his practice and research. His interest shifted to mythology, folklore, and religion, leading to his influential work, Transformations and Symbols of the Libido, published in 1912. This marked a return to his cultural and religious roots, exploring the prevalence of mythological themes in contemporary dreams and fantasies. Jung differentiated between directed thinking and fantasy thinking, linking the latter to mythology and dreams. He synthesized 19th-century theories of memory, heredity, and the unconscious, introducing a phylogenetic layer to the unconscious, containing mythological images. Jung used the comparative method, termed amplification, to analyze a myriad of myths, focusing on the hero myth as symbolic of individual life and the quest for independence. In 1912, Jung and colleague Alphonse Mader argued that dreams served a compensatory function, balancing moral conflicts and preparing for the future. Jung's quest for his own myth began after completing transformations and symbols of the libido, as he realized the significance of living without a myth. This led him to undertake self-experimentation. Jung grappled with perplexing dreams that challenged Freudian interpretations. In one, a bird transformed into a child, conveying a mystical message about human transformation. Jung began to explore childhood memories, realizing the importance of emotional resonance from childhood. While engaged in self-analysis, he continued theoretical work, introducing his theory of psychological types at the Munich Psychoanalytical Congress in 1913. During a train journey to Schaffhausen, Jung had a waking vision of Europe submerged in a catastrophic flood, which he interpreted as a vision of personal crisis. More visions of apocalyptic imagery occurred in the lead up to World War I. Drawing from his experiences with mediums and hypnagogic states, he explored the dramatized thinking in pictorial form. These fantasies, resembling myth and epic, were documented in the Black Books. Jung intentionally switched off consciousness, seeking to uncover spontaneous psychic contents. Through intentional exercises to empty consciousness, he tapped into the animated realm beneath the threshold of awareness, exploring the depths of the psyche. From November 1913 to July of the following year, Jung grappled with the uncertain meaning of his fantasies, which continued to unfold. During this period, the key figure of Philemon appeared in a dream, symbolized as an old man with bull horns and kingfisher wings. Philemon represented superior insight and became a guiding presence for Jung. Amidst this, Jung resigned from the International Psychoanalytical Association and the University of Zurich, sensing the need for a new direction. As war erupted in August 1914, Jung felt a personal crisis, fearing madness. Yet, he also found clarity, realizing his fantasies held collective meaning. Jung's insight into the correspondence between personal and collective experiences was crucial in the development of his analytical psychology. Jung thus initiated the writing of Liber Novus, transcribing most of the fantasies from the Black Books and adding explanations and lyrical elaborations. It was structured similarly to Nietzsche's Thus Spoke Zarathustra, but with a focus on the soul's rebirth. Jung illustrated his text with paintings, initially linked to the narrative, and later evolving into symbolic representations. But despite opportunities to exhibit alongside the Swiss Expressionists in 1919, Jung rejected the label of artist. Amid self-exploration, Jung practiced yoga to manage his emotions and fear. His self-experimentation transformed his analytic approach to psychiatry, encouraging patients to engage in active imagination and painting. Jung's Red Book often stood open during sessions, demonstrating the importance of psychic development. During World War I's devastation, themes of the dead's return permeated art. Jung, after a year's pause, resumed writing in the Black Books in 1915. His son's disturbing dream led to Jung's realization that he, symbolized as a fisherman, had disturbed spirits. This was the inspiration for the 7 Sermons to the Dead, which was privately printed and gifted to friends. Between June and October 1917, Jung served as a military commander. He drew 27 mandalas during this period, expressing his evolving self and symbolizing the eternal mind. Jung's realization of the self's significance in the autumn of 1917 is portrayed in the Scrutinies, which is Liber Tertius of Liber Novus. He continued transcribing the draft into a calligraphic volume with paintings, differentiating voices and characters in his dialogues. He acknowledged the importance of grappling with Gnostic and Neoplatonic materials, signalling his ongoing work on these themes. The central theme in Jung's Red Book is his journey to regain his soul and counter contemporary spiritual alienation. Liber Novus depicts Jung's individuation process as he encounters fantastical figures. Jung emphasizes the significance of mythopoeic imagination, which is absent in the rational age, and advocates for integrating collective unconscious contents to recover lost mythical values, bridging the spirit of the time with the spirit of the depths. In 1916, Jung started translating the themes of Liber Novus into contemporary psychology, presenting early outlines of his mature ideas. He developed an account of the individuation process. He differentiated personal and collective layers of the psyche. He explored persona analysis, introduced the anima concept, and theorized that his mythological fantasies stemmed from the collective psyche. In November, during military service, Jung wrote on the transcendent function, introducing the idea of active imagination, the method of Liber Novus. The technique involves eliminating critical attention and allowing fantasy to play free. Dialogue with the other voice creates the transcendent function, uniting the conscious and unconscious. He also noted that the law of enantiodromia, the tendency for things to change into their opposites, can lead to individuation through production of the transcendent function. Liber Novus depicts Jung's quest to understand fantasies symbolically, and he aimed to translate these insights into contemporary language. For instance, Chapter 5 of Psychological Types explored the resolution of opposites through uniting symbols. In 1921, he introduced the concept of the self as the totality of the psyche, distinct from the conscious I. He equated the self with the Hindu notion of Brahman, Atman. In 1922, a conversation with his soul urged him to undertake a great work, signalling the start of the new religion. His soul insisted on publication, and Jung grappled with realizing and embodying this knowledge. He delved into the psychology of religion, seeking to understand the translation of numinous experiences into psychological symbols, while avoiding the trap of his psychology becoming a creed. He explored the relation of analytical psychology to symbolic works arising from the collective unconscious. These works, exemplified by Goethe's Faust and Nietzsche's Zarathustra, educate the spirit of the age and compensate for present one-sidedness. This perspective influenced Jung's evolving theories of art and his work's role in shaping the spirit of the age. From 1922, Jung began discussing the fate of Liber Novus with colleagues Carrie Baines and Wolfgang Stockmayer. Concerned about public reception and being labelled a lunatic, he hesitated to publish it. Carrie proposed incorporating an exposition of potential criticisms within the book, anticipating and addressing detractors. She valued Jung's ability to see both sides of a situation and believed preemptive criticism could neutralize potential attacks. On January 30th, 1924, Jung related a dream to Carrie, which he interpreted as signifying the struggle between reality and the spiritual realm, and a preparation for the Red Book. Carrie and Stockmayer continued to advocate for its publication, highlighting its transformative potential and the need to share its profound insights. Yet Jung's struggle to find an appropriate form for Liber Novus continued, due to the tension between preserving its depth while making it accessible to a wider audience. In the mid-20s, Jung revisited the draft, making extensive edits and modernizing the language. He presented seminars discussing its contents and distributed copies of the section Septem Sermones ad Mortuos to trusted individuals. Liber Novus, pivotal for Jung's psychotherapeutic model, shifted his focus from neuroses to individuation. Initially associating mythological fantasies with schizophrenia, Jung's self-experimentation led to a re-evaluation. He emphasized one's attitude towards such material, distinguishing it from psychopathology. In Liber Secundus, he criticized psychiatry's inability to discern divine madness from pathology. Jung emphasized the therapeutic value of engaging in waking visions and expressing the contents through writing or art. He believed that symbolic expressions facilitated the understanding of one's shared and personal mythology. By 1930, Jung's interest in alchemy led him away from Liber Novus. The pivotal moment came in 1928 when he received the alchemical treatise The Secret of the Golden Flower from Richard Wilhelm. Jung recognized striking correspondences with one of his mandalas, and his commentary on the Chinese text became his first public discussion on the significance of the mandala. He abruptly halted work on Liber Novus as he became more interested in the public intellectual world. Inspired by the psychological interpretations of alchemy by Theodore Flournoy and Herbert Silberer, Jung viewed alchemical practices as a form of active imagination, and found parallels between alchemical symbolism and the individuation process. Jung considered his confrontation with the unconscious to be the source of his later achievements. Liber Novus provided first formulations of ideas found in his published works over the course of 45 years. His 1932 seminars on Kundalini Yoga revealed the common goal of personality transformation through active imagination. In 1934, he convinced himself of the universality of the mandala as an archetype. And in 1952, Jung's collaboration with physicist Wolfgang Pauli led to the concept of synchronicity. After halting direct work on Liber Novus, Jung eventually abandoned plans for its printing. In 1957, Jung suggested donating it to a library. In 1959, amid health struggles, he did resume work on Liber Novus, but ultimately left it unfinished. Posthumously, it remained with his family, and publication proposals in the 1970s were denied. In 1992, family scrutiny of Jung's materials began, and in 2000, the decision was made to release Liber Novus for publication. In conclusion, Liber Novus is a significant work that was central to Jung's self-experimentation and is essential for fully understanding his later work. Its publication marks a new era in comprehending Jung's legacy, offering a primary source for studying the genesis of his influential ideas. And that brings us to the end of the introduction to the Red Book. We shall soon begin exploring the contents of Jung's text, beginning with Liber Primus and following with Liber Secundus. Please consider subscribing to the channel with notifications on to be notified of future videos. If you'd like to support this channel, you can do so via the links in the description. Thank you for listening, and have a good rest of your day.